Oh, I got Crystal Castle stuck in my head. Not a bad thing to have stuck in your head. Oh, what do we got? Oliver, hello. Welcome in. Sit down. Get everything set up. Let's take a look. I apparently don't have you on the title page. Try now. Dang it. Why isn't that working? If I click on this, does it pick it up?
Hello.
There we go. Okay, so apparently I have to start the stream, go to Discord, activate the recording in progress channel,
Weird.
and then go from there. Alright, welcome in. Welcome, Corvus. It is Friday. Today's the day that we do stuff.
Today's the day where I talk about Candela Obscura.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at it. I didn't read a lot of it, but it looks pretty awesome.
So they did their first episode. So
Oh, I missed
apparently,
the first episode? Shit.
yeah. So what they're doing is, it's not going to be like, so like episode 2 of it is going to be like the end of next month.
Okay.
So they're using it, I guess, as a end of month type of break things up type of campaign.
That's neat. I'm going to start off with a rugby sketch today.
I think I would like it. I'm not sure if you would like it.
It's a lot more RP. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot more
So
RP discussion and like group linguistic problem solving, I think.
Well, less linguistics. So like there are roles that you can make and everything, but it is a very kind of RP heavy. So it's like you kind of have to explain why you're rolling everything. It's like, oh, instead of I'm trained in this, I can do this, but it's like, why are you trying to do this? Explain it to me so this can become part of our narrative.
Gotcha. That could be fun. I would actually be interested in doing something like that. I feel in my past, the few times I've tried to do things like that, people are like really, really serious about it. And I do have problems with that. Like RP in World of Warcraft, like RP servers, I don't care. I don't care enough about maintaining an air of So I ruin it for other people because I like being goofy and just kind of breaking things, which is just it's just my playstyle. So
and it's very small, like, because there's only 4 players of it right now, and I was surprised Taliesin wasn't part of it, but maybe later.
Wait, who's DMing it then?
Matt is.
Interesting. I thought
so.
Taliesin
It's Laura and Ashley are in it. So is Robbie, the guy who played as Dorian in there. Exandria Unlimited.
Yeah.
And another, she's kind of an older woman. I can't remember her name. She was also in Exandria Unlimited as a fire genasi.
I don't remember their names.
Yeah.
Oliver says, watch the Genasi video. Cosmic entities that are being plants, then become plants, choose to grow bits of themselves as tools. Freaky. Yeah. Definitely on the need to playlist. I agree. Ash Brown, Cheese Whiz, welcome in.
Cheese doodles.
Man, I freaking love cheese.
Literally called cheese doodles.
Yep. Well, I know what you're talking about. I love Cheese Whiz. Like, hold on a second. Apparently talking about Cheese Whiz makes me have to sneeze. That was intense. No, I remember when I was really young, like, I would plead and beg to get Cheese Whiz, and my mother's like, no, are you kidding? Like, it's disgusting. I'm like, I don't care. I need it. And that was like a very, very rare. Maybe I bought like 3 cans of those in my entire life. But
the last can I bought was when I was a freshman in college.
Yeah, same.
And I had a roommate who apparently hated my guts so much that he emptied the whole can of it onto my dorm mattress.
Oh,
and laid my
college
sheet over
students.
it.
Yeah.
So,
The place where children go to learn that they're children. College
so
is not that time.
Yeah, needless to say, we're not friends anymore.
Yep. That's how you find that stuff out. Like, college is a really weird time because, like, you really haven't had the experience of how do I adult yet. And you're still, like, protected because you're in, like, a dorm hall and you have a safety net. But it's a whole bunch of children just learning how to be adults around each other, and it's
Yep.
It happens. It happens. I had some strange experiences like that as well.
Oh, she also played in the Undeadwood campaign.
Yeah, okay. I think I know who you're talking about. I think it's the woman that voices Symmetra. Is that who it is?
Maybe?
I just can't remember her name.
She played Miriam.
I think so, yeah. I think that is her.
I posted her little profile thing.
I might be wrong. That might not be right. No. Anjali? Is that right?
Yes.
I hope I said her name right. I like her.
Apex Legends. Yeah, she plays as Symmetra in Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2, okay.
And 1, apparently, okay.
All right. Afternoon, Eleanor. Hello. We're having a good day. It's started. I just realized rugby is a skull. When did that happen? Oh no, I have to do so many push-ups now. The plot thickens. Yep.
Yeah, that was such a weird... Oh god, that's totally medieval. That dude from that video game.
Right. What's his name? Sir Arthur or something? That's so good. Oh no, a peek behind the mask, yep. I said I would never draw rugby without the bugbear or with arms. So I'm going to try to keep to that. But I will draw skulls and stuff. This is not a rugby skull. This is just a skull that happens to look like rugby.
Or Daniel.
Sir Daniel. Or maybe it's a rugby wearing a skull. He's like a Cubone. I made a short this morning out of pure frustration.
No.
Because I keep waking up with this idea, and like the information I'm putting out there is not wholly unique, but I just have to get this video out of my head. so that'll be a new short. Yeah, I'm gonna upload a short after the stream today. I guess I could do it right now. It doesn't really matter, but Sir Daniel Ford sauce or Skewt.
Yeah.
Fortescue.
I wasn't going to try.
There we go.
I wasn't going to try to pronounce the...
Harshafont four temps.
Yep.
I'm finally awake today. Played a
Sir
whole bunch of
Sassy
D&D.
Font.
Oh man, I did a D&D fight yesterday that lasted like 2.5 hours. It was great.
Jeez.
It's a really good one. I kind of want to run it with you guys in Pathfinder 2. But so I might ask Drew if I can do that. But it's kind of a longer campaign. It's like 4 or 5 sessions. So it could be fun. And I think Druid might have actually already done part of it. But it is a good one. It's a collection of things. We had a holy bear moment. That was pretty funny. One of my friends is playing a druid for the first time, and he's been pretty reluctant to transform into stuff. And he's like, "Wait, I can be a bear?" And it's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh my god!" And he just went nuts. It was great. It was really good. He's the main character from the game Medieval. Yeah, the skull looks like him. Yep, that's what we're talking about. But yeah, it was fun. I think Jump Rope got frustrated because she was trying not to metagame because she's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Jump Rope's had like really bad luck with rolls for the last like 2 or 3 games we've played. Like consecutively just rolling below 10 over and over and over and over again. It's just like, I don't know how to help you. Like, do we have to have a seance for your dice? Or like, I don't know, destroy the computer? I think it'd be really cool if Kenrasu could turn themselves into surfboards. I agree. I think that would be pretty neat. At least, I think you could grow a surfboard for sure. But other than that, yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff. Okay, so the way this works, for those of you who are just now joining us, I have a list of all of the character suggestions. If you have a suggestion you'd like to add to the list that you haven't added one this week, it's one per person, please. I will put it on the list. We roll some dice. The dice guys decide what we draw, and that's what we're going to do. So, I am here. I'm going to roll some dice. Corvus is here to hang out. Talk to us about Candela Obscura. Candela? I think it's Candela.
Candela.
Is there a difference between a candle and a candela? Because like there's candelabra. What's
so
a
candela is just like candle.
Okay. Because like Candela Obscura, I think is the motion picture thing, right? You put a light in the middle and you spin it.
Maybe.
I think
that may be why they did that. So.
I think that's what a candle is. Or is Candela Obscura like shadow puppets? I can't remember. It's either this thing. Or the one with the candle in it and it projects it. I don't remember. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Well, I should play an animated surfboard. I mean, I basically already did that. What about Druid's interest her? I think it was originally just like the magic of it, like the Druid nature magic and talking to animals is really what they were interested in. Sorry, I missed Elvin here. Speaking of, my girl wants to play a Druid as a well 5e, so do you have any subclasses we could try for the first time? Yeah, if you want to do Wild Shape, just go Moon Druid. Yeah. It's great. It works out really well. My suggestion would be set aside a list of each of the animals you can transform into. If you're playing physically, have the tokens ready, and just keep the list really small. Which the new like 2e thing I think is going that direction anyways, but or I guess it's 6e or whatever the hell you want to call it. D&D 360. Just following.
I'm pretty sure they're scrapping it.
Scrapping the name or scrapping the whole project?
I think they're scrapping the whole project right now.
Interesting. Boundary is amazing and I love it, so we'll see what happens.
But don't quote me on this.
A male gunslinger furble. I actually did that one already. Dang it. Something happened to my list and I accidentally undeleted a bunch of stuff. It could have been. So I might accidentally run into some things that I've already done today. A peacock, Aarakocra, artillerist, artificer, swashbuckler. That's a lot of things. With a sly expression and a flintlock. Okay. Peacock, Aarakocra, artillerist, artificer, swashbuckler.
Artificer, rogue.
This music is very upbeat. Damn, I'm glad. That's good. This is a Minecraft mix on Pretzel Rock. Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag I pay them money. Makes me a little upset. Because I keep getting flagged by YouTube. Well, it's not YouTube. It's people being like, hey, that's my music. And then being like, you are some random company in India and not the people that own this music because I license it from them. And they go,
Hey,
never mind.
F you.
Yeah. I've actually never had a problem because I always just send YouTube the like, here's my license agreement, and they're like, yup, blank, and then it's fine. But it's just annoying that I have to do that like every 3 days. I don't know what peacocks look like. I just now realized.
Long necks.
I think I'm doing okay.
Peafowl.
A peahen?
Picture.
Didn't know I'd be attending a rave today. Yeah.
It's always a rave here.
Yeah, Elvin here. I think something that if someone is getting interested in a D&D character, I would always suggest starting them at like level 2 or 3. Basically, because then they can see like the inklings of what their character can do, and then when they kind of play it a little bit and be like, man, I wish I could do this, you can then give them the archetype for it. And so with my friend who's playing right now, they started wanting to be very magical, but then after last night, they're like, can I respec? I really want to build into doing the shape changing stuff. I'm like, yeah, like right now the only thing you would have to change is basically your subtype, and I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine to do. So yeah, I highly suggest lower level characters and then like quick level up. So I really like doing a like start at level 2 and then going very quickly to level 5 and then slowing down the ramp again, because that way people can kind of like, if they hit here really fast, they have a little bit of time to like respec or try different things before they really start getting into the heavy like you can't really change your character up now.
Yeah. Like, I have only ever... My first ever D&D character, we started at level 1, and it was rough. Especially if you're a wizard.
Yeah. Level 1 favors the martial classes. And is really just to get you to, like, do you understand how to roll dice? If you know how to roll dice, start at level 2.
And we were doing a module, one of the adventures for 5th edition.
Yeah, those aren't bad.
And
those are a good place to start if you don't know what you're doing.
it kind of got weirdly deadly really quickly. I was like,
yeah. Oh, level 1 is
about,
one of the most dangerous levels. Like, it just is. Goblins can kill you very quickly.
the quote-unquote boss was a cakewalk, but like, one our encounters we just barely squeaked by was a swarm of surge, which are chihuahua-sized mosquitoes. And we fought a couple of them, and I almost died. And so it was rough.
Kevin the Necromancer threw a like 4 Grendolo at us, and we did all right. But like, Jump Rope almost got murdered, like I said, because it was bad roll after bad roll, and it's just like, your character should be wrecking this, and I feel awful for you. I don't know how to make this better. But it was still a lot of fun. But
Are they still like octogoblins? Grindila?
yeah, they're goblins with tentacle legs. Squid goblins. Probably won't want to track CR, so keep the flashcards for each animal that she has available. Made it to the live stream. Hello, Thomas. I've been asking everyone I can about this. Have you ever tried using the gold equals XP thing? Piqued my interest lately, but I don't know how it could work in 5e. Yes. So essentially what you're doing is you're consolidating, and Pathfinder does this a little differently. So it works less in 2nd edition. But essentially what you're doing is you're tracking not only XP, like you get this far before you level up, but you're also incorporating gear. Because the more gold you have, that's actually a better scaling of your power level than your XP gain is. So it's it's a lot easier to just say at certain points, X amount of money. Once you have 20,000 gold, you have a power level of someone who's at level 5. Just beat level 5. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a lot easier if you're doing it that way. You're essentially using the milestone, but the milestone is hitting so much gold, and that can include value of stuff you have. So if your character has, a +5 flaming longsword, they should essentially be level 8. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm starting at level 3 and level up after almost every session. Okay, because my sessions are long and very far apart. Interesting. I had a player last night ask me, like, oh, so we leveled up after this, right? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, because if we're going to level up next time, I want to start looking. And I'm like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that you can level up. So I got a little snippy at him. But I have a plan that I want to incorporate to give them different levels, and I'm going to make them choose. So I wanted to make sure it was more of a milestone progression thing through the story versus straight stats. So that's the thing that I would say is kind of counterintuitive. If you want to use the gold or XP, you have less control over story points versus a milestone kind of build. But that can be fun. Like if people like tracking that stuff, it can be a lot more fun. So Kevin the Necromancer loves XP system.
Also, there's 2 peacocks in the voice channel.
Thank you. I like this long one, so I'm going to go with that. I need to figure out how to give them swashbuckler gear now. I kind of want to do this. Kind of just, instead of it being, I think it's supposed to be an Aarakocra, but I kind of like Aarakocra that are just birds, if that makes sense. Leveling every other session might be difficult to balance. Not really. I mean, so if you're leveling every other session, you know the progression of your things, and you just have to keep up pace. I think a lot of people worry about balancing their monsters to fight people. You can get a lot of leeway with number of monsters. So if you say at this point I want them to fight, Grindylow, but then the previous session they leveled up, and you're like, ooh, I wasn't expecting that. You just add more Grindylow or maybe another monster to add into it. You don't have to change your sessions. You just need to balance out. Maybe they get a little bit extra gear. Maybe they have magical weapons, stuff like that. Extra track XP.
There's
Nice.
also a thing in, I assume it's a Pathfinder thing, where you can make your monsters elite. So
Yeah.
you can make, say you have a group and you could say, oh, this particular one looks really probably the leader, even though it's functionally the same creature type and stat, but it's just been bumped up by a level.
Yeah, I really like that. If you do gold equals XP, but you only count gold from treasure, perhaps from gems, art, etc., you don't give out XP from monsters, do you? I would love to have the emphasis be less on killing the enemies. Yeah, that's one way to do it. The only problem with that is then you have to be very careful about the treasure you give out. You have to be very, very impactful about it, and so, which can be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that control is on you as the DM, because then if your players start pillaging or I want to check his pockets, it's oh, that's weird. Everybody in this town doesn't have any gold in their pockets because you don't want them to be worth XP. Just have to be careful with that kind of stuff. So. That's why I like the milestone system, but also if you want to do it the other way, I give XP for non-combat events, for traps, getting through, solving puzzles, really good conversations. Maybe a character goes on a date with somebody. I would give them XP for that kind of stuff. Any kind of interactable event should be XP based. So it's the same thing with gold. Robbing somebody, it should be worth a little bit of gold, but if they rob a really rich person, why would that be worth more than someone who has no gold? Does that make sense? So you just have to be careful about how you're giving out the treasure.
Because I know when we are playing second edition, I know Drew had mentioned that he had not been giving us out enough XP because every time we do rolls, we're supposed to get a bit of XP from that as well. Yeah, that's not just killing the monster.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways you can track that. And I think second edition wants you to do that pretty well. So you should be figuring out how events and conversations and stuff will affect your character levels. What are we drawing? This is a peacock swashbuckler artillerist, which I think just turns into like a pirate bird.
Gunslinger.
Maybe I'll give him an earring. Why not?
On what ear?
Feather.
Feather rings.
Feather rings. I think it's fine for players to plan ahead for how they want to level up. Do you need a 1 to 20 plan, but some consistently is recommended? Yeah, and you can do that. Like, there's a lot of great, like, I think D&D Beyond does let you do that. You can basically level your character all the way up, and then just, I'm level 4 right now, and then so that works out. I specifically don't like my players doing that because I like leveling to be fluid. So if they already have their entire character built out, that's less opportunity for me to, influence what they're doing with the story, which is fine. Like, if that's what they want, that's what they want, and they can do that. Yeah. Every time a player asks me if they leveled up, I push back how long until they level.
So mean.
Yep. I prefer the Dragon Ball experience approach. Whoever yells the loudest has the highest power level. What I like to do is give XP for routing monsters' enemies or befriending them as well. You never know what a bandit may actually know unless you keep them alive. Yeah, and that's the problem with XP for killing only, is that leads to murder hobos very fast. Visiting my grandmother tomorrow, up to the suburbs in London. It's a 3-hour drive. It's long for England. Should be really nice. She's to be 97. Nice, congrats. My grandmother just turned 90, so that's impressive. That's impressive. Also, a 3-hour drive. For her birthday, I had to drive 10 hours. And I went essentially one state over. I guess 2 states over.
Yeah, because you live on the far end of one state, so you basically got to travel the full length of the state.
Yeah, because like there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then that. And I went, where do I live? I live like up here somewhere. I did this. That's close enough. I know geography. Technically the next state over, but I had to go through a different state.
Okay.
If your players are killing the monsters for XP, how would you rule those they spare? Give them more XP? I mean, Elvin here, that like I said, that's not... sorry, I guess I didn't say this yet. It can be a 1-to-1. That's why XP should be encounter-based, not... That's why I don't like the XP system, because then you can just grind pigs, right? I'm going to kill level 1 pigs till I'm level 100. Pathfinder has an interesting system where if a creature is like 3 levels below you, you just don't get XP for it anymore, which is great.
So you use the Final Fantasy version of XP.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty consistent with a lot of video games, right? Like, even World of Warcraft, like the whole South Park killing boaters thing is false. That's just not how XP works because of that. But like, that's the exploitation of it. So in that way, D&D has been out of sync for quite a while.
Yeah.
That sentence made little sense, but I think I get the idea. You're talking about distances kind of gets me skewed on absolutely huge the US is. You guys travel ludicrously far. Yeah. One of my cousins, he took a plane ride, and it was still like 14 hours to get from one part of the US to the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, Elvin here, what I would do is I would say you have encounter A worth X amount of XP. If your party traverses the event, they get that XP. Whether that means they rescued people, killed people, or just completely found a way to circumvent it. If they do circumvent it completely, like they find a way to cheese it, then I would maybe either reduce the XP or just not give it to them. But if the whole along the quest line of the thing, you want them to go from like 1 to level 5, and there's like a castle, a bandit attack, maybe a town, as long as they hit all of these things, regardless of how they get through them, they should hit level 5. And if part of that is them just doing this, you can either make each of these fights harder to hit that level 5, or maybe you just don't give them XP at all for these. Right? That's why I like Milestone, because you can circumvent stuff. But if you want to do XP, you just need to take into account that an event should be worth so much versus each individual person. So
I would highly recommend people watching, because you can find on YouTube Shorts, Brandon Lee Mulligan's argument for against both Milestone and XP, because he does both sides of the argument. And maybe you like one or the other, but I think he does a good way of articulating the cons of both and pros as well.
If you can find that and want to post it, I'm fine with that. I like the concept of like the wizard school. It's like, oh no, you're here to learn how to murder, because that's how you become a powerful wizard. Why spend your entire life reading books when you can just go out and murder 1,000 goblins and become the most powerful wizard in existence?
It changes the whole narrative.
Yeah. Milestone is just a set of XP after an event or an encounter. Correct. Yeah, milestone. So milestone is basically once your characters reach a point, they just hit level 2. So like after defeating this boss, they will be level 2. Doesn't matter how you get there, how long it gets there. If you kill Nora, won't they just make more murder hobos? Yeah. Can we kill the rescues from more XP? Yeah, exactly. Nora, that's the downside to it. Is like, when is XP based around just death? Doesn't make sense to me. So like rescuing people, that's worth XP. Is it worth more? It's like that's not how your character should be thinking, right? That's exploiting the game. So like when players go, oh, do we level up after this fight? It's like, you don't fucking know. Well, technically, it's like, you don't know how my world works. This is why I ask these questions. I love to pick the minds of other experienced players for advice. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. That is going into my Diablo 4 fund. Actually, no, it's not. It's going into my eye surgery. Dag it. Wednesday. That's a good segue. Next Wednesday, I am having my eye surgery. So hopefully I will have depth perception again next week, which will be awesome. But because of that, I will not be streaming on Wednesday. I will be most likely unconscious for a little bit. That being said, we'll see how I feel. I might hang around in Discord or something on Wednesday and just hang out, because it's supposedly not so bad. Thursday, I will probably be around as well, but then after that, I should be okay. So it should be a pretty fast turnaround. Leave a comment for the algorithm. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that.
Agree.
Narratively, it could be that an XP campaign, everyone's strength is based on the number of souls they've taken. You could do it that way. I mean, that's inherently what it is, but this would be deadly mean that undead don't give any for killing them based on their loot, maybe? I'm not sure. Surgery. Yeah, are you becoming a cyborg? Not yet. Most likely in the future, I will have to be. But currently, I'm just getting my eye goo sucked out and replaced with, I guess I am, no, it's natural. They're replacing it with an organic fluid, so that's fine. Good way to solve murder hobos is to put a bounty out on players until they pay their crime or find a way to clear their name. Yeah, I mean, like, I've done that in the past. I've almost always found that it causes just more murder hoboing because now they're ostracized from society. Yep. But you can definitely, you have to work it into the storyline, right? Like if they're interested in clearing their name, that's one thing. But for the most part, if you're a murder hobo, you don't care. Like, yeah, no, people are going to come after me and I can fight them more. It's like, yeah, that's bad. So I generally just, when I have people murder hoboing, it's usually because they're bored or they're playing the wrong kind of campaign. So I usually just work it around. We are now playing an evil campaign. No more
Or you could
altruism.
just have them get murked in their sleep. Oops, sorry. End of campaign.
Yeah, you die, no save.
Yep. I mean, that's essentially kind of the one of the horror stories about Gary Gygax is.
Yeah.
The reason like the Demon Abyss even exists is because he had a group of players who were too powerful because he gave them Vorpal Mithril swords.
Yep.
And he's like, you unleash a demon prince, he breaks your swords and drags you all to the abyss. Goodbye. It's like, you gave them the swords, dude.
This is your fault.
Literally your fault, dude.
If you wear glasses, you're a cyborg. Not wrong. Not wrong. Burning, you are true.
Where are these glasses you all speak of?
That was one thing with this surgery. They're like, worst case scenario, you might have to start wearing glasses. I'm like, I already wear glasses. They're like, then it's not a problem. Then you're gonna be fine. I was like, great. Sounds like your players want to play Battle Royale. Yeah, sometimes that can be a fun way to give people that thing. If they really just want to... Yeah, if solutions for Murder Hope is usually talk to your players, and that's where I was getting to. It's like, usually you just need to talk to them. Like, what do they want? Like, I need more challenging fights. It's like, okay, well, let's do a battle arena then. Like, let's go somewhere where your character can just fight. Like, if that's what you want, let's make it more gamified and give you more reasons to just, throw down. I think, like, Grog needed that a little bit. It's good. It helps. Talk to your players, see what they want to play. Sometimes it's just not, the story's not engaging them the way that you need them to. I still have a bounty on my character's head from the backstory for avenging my family. Guy killed a bunch of people. But they deserved it, and I'd do it again. Fair enough. I'm lucky my group doesn't have them think that way. We track XP, we get some of the encounters, but they never been issues for anyone overthinking it. Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's really just a discussion thing. Sometimes you just need to talk to people about what they want from the game. Always working into the story, because imagine a level 20 Holy Paladin comes to arrest the party and takes him to court. Led by insert Celestial here. That feels a little excessive. I have absolutely thrown higher level players at my characters, because like if you have a group of adventurers that are causing a muck, especially for like evil campaigns, the people that come after them should be higher level, because like they should know that. They're like, oh yeah, no, this guy's a necromancer. Let's send the best necromancer slayer we have after him, right? And that just becomes part of the story. As long as it's not malicious, it feels really good to have them like be hounded. That's a really fun type of play for evil campaigns. Alternatively, just design all encounters with combat in mind. It really depends. Yeah, it really depends on the playstyle. Playstyle and the players. I've had a lot of people who hate combat, and I have a lot of people who hate RP. So it's very much can be both ways. I think I'm about done with this one. I think I forgot something. It's supposed to be a swashbuckler. They have the gun, which looks kind of like a dongle. Maybe we will change that a little bit. Flintlock here. How does he pull the gun? Nobody knows. Magical bird, man. Magical bird. It does get to the point that the murder hobos aren't always a problem if everyone's on board with it. Yeah, yep, absolutely. I really like it when murder hobos get mad at other murder hobos. That's really funny to me. Like, hey, stop getting us in trouble. So, they just want to murder shit. It's like, well, then we're just going to kill you. And it's like, haha, PvP, let's go. PvP is totally acceptable. A lot of my evil campaigns have always been like, okay, so here's what you get if you kill the other players. Just think about it. Just incentivizing chaos. And I've had a lot of player deaths, though, that way. So. All right, I'm going to roll the dice again. See what we're doing next here. I forgot to set up the poll today. Let me do that real quick. I'll give you guys a minute. That will be for the next one. I'm just going to go... I'm gonna go purple for the next one. And then you guys can pick. Roll a 19. An Asimar Konrasu Mage with wooden... I already did that one. Dang it. It's weird that I keep rolling the same ones, too. That one's on there twice. Why was that one on there twice? Something very strange happened to my list. Warforged Oath of the Ancients Paladin, who is stylized after an elf soul? Pointy ears and a masked face. Alright. Elven Warforged Paladin. Elven Warforged Paladin. How can I be able to see the chat and the stream at the same time? I clicked a button and now things have gone funky. You might have closed the chat. On the right, there should be a little hide chat button on the top right. I'm not sure if you're on mobile. I'm not sure how to do that. But there should be a little arrow drop down. Sending a powerful person to hunt down the party of murder hobos will most likely get you a new treasure response rather than fear. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't do it maliciously. You can't just be like, I'm mad at you. Here's a big guy that's fighting you. Like, it needs to be part of the story. So if your players are bending towards an evil campaign where they're just out on a rampage, the big bad evil guys become, paladins and adventuring guilds and assassin guilds that people are coming after you with. And I mean, that does become the campaign. And it can be a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun campaigns like that. The other thing about that is, so with Kevin the Necromancer, the whole campaign I set up for him as an evil campaign was essentially, he got tied in with power that the big bad evil guy that I had initially started the campaign with wanted. So all of a sudden now he made the game harder for himself, because now he has a hard time dealing with anybody in town without making like shady deals. And then he also has the big bad evil guy that still wants him dead because he's got something he wants. So he still has an incentive to do the right thing, in quotation marks, the thing that I want him to do. But he has to do it a different way than someone who's, say, a hero of the people and kind of can freely walk around towns. Any higher level, as if a party is good and slipped up once, y'all might have to pay the crime you did. 100 gold, insert price here. Yeah, I'm less interested in doing, like, there's a fine for the thing you did. Because that's just, like, the players can just, have too much money and pay things away. So.
Yep.
Stockades. That could be fun. Waste time.
Shun them.
Shun them. Yep.
Make them wear a pillory around town while people threw rotten tomatoes at them.
Yep. But evil campaigns, maybe that is it. Punishment doesn't have to be death. It can just be a fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of making sure it fits the narrative, right? I'm an adventurer who has 20,000 gold. There's a 5 gold fine for murdering that guy. It's like, that doesn't seem right. What do you think about the design of Eric Coker's with or without wings, or wings as arms? I like wings with arms. That's my favorite. But Eric Coker's classically have arms and wings, so that's why I prefer the Kenku. I think the Kenku having winged arms is fun.
I think the one time I've not seen that particular design for Eric Coker was actually in Dark Sun. They had a type of Eric Coker where there were just like vulture people.
Yeah, I have seen the vulture people. Those are cool.
And they just kind of the art I remember him is flying and has like a spear gripped in its feet. It's like see why they got rid of this.
I think if an Elven Warforged would probably be a little more slick. A little thinner. I do need to hit up more. Sorry, I just thought about this. I do want to try to get some more commissions for next week after I get out of surgery. So, if people are interested in commissions, my commissions will be open. I might even set up like pin-up commissions. I think that could be kind of fun. See how that goes.
Like air coker with different arms. I think maybe it depends on the character concept I want.
Yeah.
Depending on how I want their wing
Like,
slash arms to be.
Because the Aarakocra from Magic the Gathering are almost always griffins. And then that's why like the Owlin are different as well.
Mm-hmm.
And griffins classically have, you know, arms and wings, 4 limbs and wings, so it makes sense. But for a lot of the other, like, if you want to do a bird race, I think arms and wings should be similar. Imagine right-hand man with big bad evil guy shows up at the party with a job offer. Yeah, that works too. I mean, like, it just depends. Depends on what you're doing. I've managed to separate the video and the chat in separate tabs. Okay, so if you've done that, you can close the chat, and then the other page will have restore chat as a function, I believe. Finds the cost of doing business. Yeah. That could be it. That's a part of the campaign. It can be. I find that all Warforged look like Iron Man, and I love it. There's definitely an interesting aesthetic. I'm not a big fan of like the wooden limbs, but I kind of go a little more cyber punky, sci-fi-ish when I do my robots because I like it that way. Need to incorporate the armor. Una paladin. Just start cutting into the metal here. Should I give him shoulder pads? Maybe I should give him shoulder pads. Yeah, why not?
I just know my favorite air coker art I've seen, like officially, is probably this one from the, I think it's Tomb of Annihilation.
That was real good. I love those wings. They look so good. The arms and the wings design is exclusively in 5e. Okay.
Separate.
Are there Aarakocra in earlier editions?
Maybe back to first edition.
Yeah. And they have wings for arms?
Like, they just have like the weird arm-wing combo, like
Okay.
how you like to draw them.
Okay. I was gonna say, I thought there were second edition Aarakocra, but that wouldn't surprise me if that came from Magic the Gathering art.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind it.
I'm gonna start over. This one's just doing me dirty. I like the bird people from Zelda. Yeah, the Ritos are pretty cool. I like their design. We'll never forget Little Bread, the walking woven forge. That's pretty funny. Bird in the hand is worth spear in the face. That's pretty good.
Harvey Birdman. Attorney at law.
Never understood why they made him an attorney.
I think it was just like Coast to Coast with Space Ghost. I think it was in that era of like
It
just
was, yeah.
weird weirdness. And watch Jeremy Wade.
I've seen all of those so many times.
Same. I just like because it gives me some like sound in the background.
Yeah.
That it's like, but there are some that I will drop everything and watch because I just really like those particular episodes. So I do love that people have been making like Hummingbird or Cobra. It's just
Hummingbird or Cobra sound pretty awesome.
I think for those, I think I was specifically would want them to have separate wings, just to have the the image of them just wings just basically buzzing like a little bumblebee.
Could be fun. I want to bring back the tiny creatures in 5e.
Yeah.
I like them in Pathfinder too. Really funny.
I think the only tiny creature you can play right now, at least, are sprites.
Sprites, yeah, pixies. What else would you be able to do?
They give you an option of being a small sprite.
Right, which to me feels huge. Like a small sprite is a big sprite.
Yeah, that's like a leprechaun size. Well, you're about will be about the size of a halfling, so I was like, that's a big sprite.
The Dresden books, one of the characters named Toot Toot, I really like because like every time you see him, he gets slightly bigger. Because just his interactions with Dresden like make him more powerful as a Fae. So he starts off being really tiny, and then by the end of the last book I read, he was like 1.5 feet tall, and they're just like, this is getting weird. Slowly becoming more powerful. I like it. Doritos? You sell door to door? Dorito? No, I think that would just be an annoying bird. If you go door to door. It's exactly why I homebrew what they look like and how they work. Yeah. Spectral wings are kind of meh design-wise to me. Why is that? I prefer either just levitating or like rocket ignition flight. Both of those are acceptable, I guess. And in a world where a flight spell exists, like, I don't know, any kind of flight is fine.
Unless you specifically mean that wave sprites, in terms of rules as written for second edition, don't have wing or like can't fly.
Yeah, but we figured that out. That's a design choice for DMs. It's DM discretionary power. So I don't know. I think that right there is a good example of the rules as written. It's like rules as written are purposefully vague in Pathfinder. And they state that. So I think that's something that's kind of missing from a lot of 5e. I think they assume a lot of, well, whatever your DM says goes, but they need to be more specific about what that means.
People should just learn how to read.
Yeah.
And stop listening to DM shorts.
Yeah.
D&D shorts.
Yep.
You hear me, you crazy dude? I'm calling you out.
Don't start a beef on my channel.
You wanted to start a beef with him.
Let me start a beef on the channel. I don't need hype men starting beef on my channel. Watch the confused. Become a mega mind. I wish of mine. I'm gonna go to the library, take out some books on science, and come back, put a latex balls. Like in real life? I love 5e, but Pathfinder seems to have more versatility. Yep. Although all homered?
I think I meant homered.
Yeah. I wonder how hard it is to convert 5e to Pathfinder. It's insanely easy. Mostly because essentially you're just removing advantage. Advantage is the lazy man's math.
Superior math. Big brain math.
It's just not. It's not fine-tuned enough for me. Or not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Nuanced.
Yeah, but more like finessable, which also is not a word.
It likes finesse.
It lacks finesse. Yeah. It's a little too heavy-handed. It works in most situations, which is great.
Yeah.
So I still do it. Even in Pathfinder, I'll be like, yeah, roll with advantage because I don't want to fucking come up with a number.
Yeah. Because I do know there's a few things where it allows you to roll with advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah. And in Foundry, there's just an option for you click take the highest. That's all it's called. Instead of advantage, just take the highest. It's like, all right. I actually don't want Dragonborn to be able to fly by default. Why not? Fearsome ground fighters. I mean, but that's just a lizard folk in my mind. Like, just lizard folk are fearsome ground fighters that are lizards. That's just me, though. You can have, like I said, your game. Do whatever you want. That's fine. I like Dragonborn being half dragons, and not half dragon Dragonborns are just lizard folk. So that's my mind. That's my 2 cents.
I think half dragons are just too OP and just don't need to give that to players.
I mean, I'm fine with people playing dragons. That can be really fun. But it's a power shift. It's a power difference.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm a level 1 gnome. I'm a dragon. It's like, okay, this is not going to be fun for one of you. I'm not going to tell you which one.
Mine would be fun for the dragon, to be honest, some days.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel too powerful. I'm like, you are.
Yeah. Lars ran into that. I told him not to do something because it was going to I'm like, this is going to be really overpowered for the game. And he's like, what? And then he did it. And then after like two sessions, he's like, I feel really broken. I'm like, yes, you are.
You are.
Your stats are too high. You picked a class specifically meant to break this campaign, and you disregarded the rules I gave you at the beginning and chose the things I told you not to choose. You are playing the epitome of an overpowered character. And he's like, it's not fun. I'm like, yep. I don't know what you wanted. And I'm like, you can either like re-roll him if you want. I'm totally fine with you still playing him. I just like the puzzles I've set out for you will be broken by this character. And he played a new character and he had a lot more fun with that one. So, but yeah, it's important. It's important to talk to your DM.
Yep.
And if you're into min-maxing, the DM still has to make the game fun for you. Otherwise, it is weird. I'd also have had a friend who liked to min-max. And as soon as he got to the point where he's like, yep, this is OP, he would just kill the character. I'm like, you can just not play. He's like, nope, they died. They just straight up died. And he self-edited his own OP characters out of games. And it was really funny.
That is funny.
He liked the challenge. He liked the challenge of breaking the character. And then once he hit that point, he was done with it. Like, he didn't want to go any further. You're a giant dragon, and now here's a maze where everyone small has to squeeze through. Good luck. Yep, I've done that too. Not intentionally, but just... people have been like, I want to be this. I'm like, you can be a large-sized character. This is a small hole. They're like, dang it. So yeah, that's what you have to live with, big giant. My opinion, Dragonborn should be more modular, where you can pick what dragon aspects you invest in. Yeah, so that's a half dragon. That's exactly my point. At 3rd level, you can get a choice between breath weapons, winged claws, armors, and legendary resistances. That could be interesting. I like that as an idea. There's a level gating system that I really like for the Dragon Disciple. And so that can be really fun. just having that as a tacked on thing. So if you start as a Dragonborn, you just start getting levels in Dragon Disciple to build out the dragon. It's a template system, so you're going to be a little more powerful than most people. But I really like that. It's kind of there's another way they did a sub job system like that where everybody gets. Well, that's the thing they were talking about in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, right? The ancestry feats.
Yeah.
Where everybody,
or
not ancestry, the archetype. Everyone just picks an archetype feat and they gain that every 2 levels. I really like that system, and that can be really cool for things like that, where you're like, I have dragon blood. I'm slowly going to be blending towards the dragon as you level, and I like that. I like that a lot. Let's see what's going on here.
I'm gonna be honest. I hate Legendary Resistance. This might be my biggest hot take for 5th edition. I hate them so much. Like. Oh, I'm just gonna choose to succeed. Like, I failed, but I'm just gonna nah.
I like and I dislike it.
To me, it doesn't make sense for every single boss creature to have it.
That's my issue, because the essential thing that it does is dwindle the players. So, I think instead of having that, you really should have, instead of having legendary resistances, you should have another minion. Something else the players have to deal with. And I think you can build that into the game itself instead of having it just be, because really what that does is allows for a singular big bad boss. And it scales well to do that, but it doesn't feel good. It never feels good when it's just like, Nope, didn't happen. You can't do that. Here's a cutscene right when you're about to kill a bot. Like, that's just, it takes away autonomy from the players, and I don't like it.
Yeah. It's like, say you critically, you're finding something and you roll to use a spell on it. It has to make a saving throw. It fails. Like, heck, it may enroll a nat 1, it fails. And just can choose to, no, I succeed, because screw you. Yeah. It's so infuriating.
I do think that the original intent was really to prevent... I mind control the big bad boss. It's like, no, they're immune to that. But the problem is when you give players and DMs the ability to have those immunities, and your players don't have those spells... all of a sudden it gets abused differently, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, really what it should be, I feel like, is it's an excuse for, not an excuse, I'm sorry. It is a rationalization of the DM fudging numbers and giving a limitation to it, which to me is just I get it. Like I said, I get it. I like it for what it is. You go into the fight knowing, hey, this guy's legendary resistances, so I get to just whisk away some of your powerful shit. Plan accordingly. So the fact that it is open and a communication, that's fine. But I do think really they should only be used thematically when your players are trying to I'm gonna do this.
I'm okay with an ancient elder dragon having them, because they probably got magical scales or trinkets just around their horde that they could just activate to block things. Makes sense.
And so,
or even a lich.
From my standpoint, lich specifically. My standpoint, I will basically just give my monsters those kind of things, but I won't sugarcoat it. It's just nope, he's too old. Your mind altering magic isn't gonna work here. And they're like, that sucks. I'm a mind wizard. It's like, as a DM, don't do that to your players, right? So So that's the thing. It makes it more difficult if you hand fine tune it and then remove the legendary resistances versus just having it as a backup for players doing stupid shit. So I don't know. I think I actually min-maxed my Dragonborn Warlock. Yeah, well, 1 Warlock, 2 Dragonborn. Yeah, you picked 2 really strong things. So I went with what seemed good and it fit my character. And I think it's great. I think you made a really good character. And then your DM gave you a lot of really powerful items. So min-maxing, maybe not as much, but you picked a really strong build. You did pick a really strong build.
Yeah.
I would prefer Drakeborn. Go ahead.
Fizban's Dragonborn, because
were
they? Because the old Dragonborn were kind of just mid. be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, they weren't the worst.
there were a lot of people who were unhappy with it because dragons are supposed to feel powerful and awesome, and the Dragonborn in the original book didn't feel that way. It was just like, yeah, sure, I guess. But part of that was because they didn't have a lot of the cool stuff that they had in the older editions, which was a little bit, I want to say, overpowering, because you were a dragon. Like, you're supposed to feel powerful. Like, picking a dragon was really cool. And then now it's just like, what if you were a human that looked like a dragon? It's like, that's not fun. That's not what I wanted. I want to be a dragon. So
I keep wondering.
Okay, I think I'm about done here. I spent a lot of time on this guy, but I talked a lot, so that's my bad. But
Stop asking us cool questions.
Yeah, stop it. You're being disruptive to the stream. No, you guys are doing great. Good questions today so far. I'm very happy. Good art too. Like, good suggestions. I'm doing a great job. I don't know what you guys are doing. No, really good suggestions today. So I'm gonna roll again. What do we have here? Purple again. Okay, that's fine. We'll do another purple art. A 3.
Yeah, we could also just blame Dragonborn on 4th edition, so.
Yeah. Yep. A gentlemanly variant human barbarian. English Civil War cavalier. Very pleasant man until he loses his temper. English Civil War cavalier.
Okay, I know.
Mustache?
I know what they're...
Mustache, pointy hat?
No, hang on.
No, I'm thinking of like
Victorian.
yeah, I'm thinking Victorian cavalier. Cavalry, I guess.
English Cavalier.
Yeah, well, it says English Civil War. Maybe,
Yes,
maybe I am thinking of the right thing. I'm thinking of the guys with like the tassely shoulders and the. Find me a picture. I'm gonna rebuild the poll.
I'm working on it. Because I only know of one English Civil War that's referred to as the English Civil War. And this is what they would have wore.
Hey, that's my guy. English Civil War was cavaliers with wide-brimmed hats and large feathers.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Like a musketeer, but
Yes.
on horse. Gotcha. It was a human, right?
Yep.
Sweet.
I think the most armor they would have wore would have just been a simple breastplate. Or by the proper French term, a cuirass.
Got it. I say cuirass. C-U-A or whatever.
I've heard it both ways.
Crass?
That may be the more like anglicized way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's spelt weird.
Yeah.
Spelt weird.
Either way, you're saying ass.
You are saying ass. Whether you're saying qua, quir, qui, quir, like I don't know how that's supposed to.
Yeah. Because
Cure.
it's clearly like a French word.
Yeah. Probably it's supposed to be more of a qua.
Yeah.
Cuirass.
Valid.
The fact that Dragonborns don't have tails or tail sweep mechanic is a sin. Yep. They literally are just people with dragon faces, which I think is lame. But the Dragonborn that as they were designed for 5e are were dragons. They are.
Yeah.
They're cursed were dragons. So that's fine. You know, they don't get the cool parts of the dragon.
They were literally created to be servants, unpaid servants for dragons.
Yep.
I had to choose my words carefully.
The fact that dragons in the name, I think, still causes a lot of arguments about whether they should be or should not be. Yep, which is fine.
They're draconians.
Yep.
First off, the tail thing, I could care less. I kind of like them without tails. That's just me. But If you like tails, put a tail on it. I like their weird tendril hair. I was gonna say, did you ever watch the movie Rob Roy? Because that's also kind of like English Civil War era.
Is it? Oh man.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie. I couldn't tell you what it was about or what's happening.
All the same.
I only remember like the final fight scene.
Yep. Like that dandy dude, he's basically like would have been like an English cavalier.
This is a barbarian though, right?
I don't remember a class.
Unless it's supposed to be a cavalier.
They'll kind of do like big dandy cavalier who's like a barbarian.
I was going to say something inappropriate. Sorry.
You can tell me later.
It's fine.
Would I have been offended?
I don't know. That's why I didn't say it.
Oh.
I was going to say, yeah, you do, because of the southern dandy thing. I just thought it was funny. Probably inappropriate, so I apologize.
No, that's fine. I wouldn't have been offended.
Musketeers often use rapiers, I thought. It's
They do.
Yeah, the musketeer thing was weird, right? Because they were essentially just cops, but they were called musketeers because they were allowed to have guns. But that's not what they were most famous for.
Yeah, so
They
the
weren't
rapier
good
would just been their
marksmen. That's really a better way to say it.
sidearm.
Yeah. Like the dragoons. Oh my god. I want a dragoon pistol so bad.
Well, with dragoon is just they're a guy, a more modern lancer on a horseback.
Yep. Shock troopers, baby.
Still used in World War One.
Mm-hmm.
Captain. Yeah, Captain Hook would have been is another example of that type of character. Very foppish.
I would be okay with the player's handbook Dragonborn if they got bonus action tip with the tail. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would bonus action trip with the tail. That's really powerful. Like I don't think many players should get free trip attacks with the tail. That should still be an action.
It's even action Pathfinder still, where they've just kind of added that stuff to weapons.
Yep.
You still had to make a roll.
Which I was discovering in 5e, not the case. Or older Pathfinder, sorry, I said 5e. First edition, not the case, yeah. First edition, just if a monster had the bite or trip attack, you did the action and you got it. Which was what made the Lutheran hammer so powerful. Because you just auto-sundered all the time.
I want to sunder.
I do think if you had a tail, you could absolutely use your bonus action for a secondary attack, just like you could with an offhand or two-weapon fighting.
Yeah.
Mechanically, that still works really well.
I think maybe the most amount of damage I think I would allow to do would probably be a D6. If you because you're kind of still kind of whacking them with your butt. It's literally just what's happening.
Yep, I would say D4, D6, depending, and then you can get things like tail spikes.
Yeah,
those exist to just up the damage dice.
Yeah,
I think I'd probably do for a medium creature. I'd probably do a D6 for a big tail like that. Whereas what's the monkey called? It starts with an S. Shoot.
Are you sure?
Van
'Cause I
Rasu.
know
There we
they're-
go. Starts with a V, has an S in it.
Vanara.
Vanara. Van Rasu is not a thing at all.
You literally combined Vanara and
It
Rasu
is.
together.
It did.
You're drunker and go home.
Vanara. The Vanara. I think there's another. I think there might be a SAR or something or other. I'll have to look that up. It might be what it was.
There's the Hangazar or Hangazi or something like that, which is the flying, gliding space monkeys.
Maybe that's
don't think-
it. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't
I
matter.
don't think they actually have tails.
The word in my head is not what we were looking for. We were looking for Vanara. So they get their tail, which they're not supposed to get an attack with. If you wanted to do like a monk tail slap with that, I'd do like a D4, D2 or D4. Especially if you're a monk, like that makes total sense. But like Dragonborn, big lizard tail, lizard folk with tails, yeah, D6 natural attack. I think that makes total sense. The reason I said bonus action is because otherwise it conflict with using breath weapons. Ideally, I would want Dragonborn to be combat masters with occasional Nova. Maybe. I mean, it's just the thing with, I think, the way that two-weapon fighting works, that everybody has, I think is bonus action, but you don't get your like strength bonus to it.
Yeah.
If I remember right. So if you took two-weapon fighting as a feat, I would definitely allow you to do that with your tail. No problem, no issue. But you wouldn't automatically get that just because you're a Dragonborn. Like, I don't think all Dragonborns would know how to, trip attack people with their tail. Specifically, tripping people is, like I said, that's another feat. If you have the feat for tripping, yeah, use your tail. I don't care. That's fine. But having a natural trip attack is very powerful, especially at bonus speed.
Yeah. Scorpions having a natural grab on their attack is also pretty powerful, so.
Yep. Which, I don't know if I told you this or not, we screwed that up again.
Oh no.
That's why Kevin almost killed us with Grendelo, because he was basically, you get to do your tentacle attack, and then he was just like, and you're grabbed. And it's just like, I think it's an action. So really he only did like one extra attack per turn, but like it adds up. So
Yeah.
with Pathfinder 2nd edition, if a feature has it on there and you succeeded in the attack, you can then use an action to automatically succeed. So you don't have to do the roll, but it still takes one of your 3 actions. So I like that. I like that a lot. The reason I say bonus action is because, yeah.
I'm kind of just thinking this guy was just Braum with a wig on.
I was kind of thinking it's like Freddie Mercury, but super buff.
Or that.
Either way, I really like him.
Yep.
This drawing looks like an average French pirate. I hope that's good, Adam.
Mega Devil Tower. So I saw a tweet today, because only reason I'm bringing this up is because French pirates. The French president Macron looks like Saul Goodman, or the actor who plays Saul Goodman. It's like there was an interview and I was like, oh my god, I cannot see this now.
I don't know if I see that.
Like,
same haircut for sure. You can see that.
but yeah, like
I can't remember the actor's name that is Saul, but I really like him as an actor.
Offkirk or something.
Yeah,
like that?
Odenkirk? Bob Odenkirk? That sounds right.
Yep. Hang on a second.
I'm gonna give him a giant blunderbuss. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk. This doesn't look like Saul in my opinion in French. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I see that either. Which Maybe he was having a very Bob Odenkirk day. Elven hair, thank you, thank you. Had to step out for a bit. Sorry, Welf Air Paladin. War Elf Paladin. It was made. Thanks again. Yeah. Glad you like that one. That's fun. I love drawing Warforged, so. But I do make them a little more sci-fi than normal. Alright, I think I'm about done with this bad boy. We'll give him a satchel. This one's a little more cartoony than normal. That is not... That can't be him. I think someone...
That is the president of France.
Okay, that's not Macron though. Unless he had weird plastic surgery in the last 10 days.
Or this... It may not be Macron, but...
Because this is what he normally looks like. Like, that's not him.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think it's part of his cabinet or something like that. I honestly got it wrong, but
Yeah,
my point still stands.
That guy definitely looks like Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever you just posted, yes.
Some sort of deputy in France. Oh.
I can't read that. I'm sorry, Adam. I tried. Where's the bat juice? Albuquerque? Is that something Saul says? I assume that's something Saul says.
But yeah, turns out it was not Macron, but someone in the government.
Okay. The mystery has been solved.
Yep. Adam, if you're in our Discord, the video is in the voice channel cat.
He needs the big gloves, and then we're going to move on to the next one, I think. Can you imagine one of the Three Musketeers just being hyper ripped? That would be terrifying. I'm the one played by Donald Duck. Y bats por vos. I don't know what that means. Give me a call? The Musketeers. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I never took any form of French, so no idea.
I did for some reason. Okay, rolling the dice. What are we doing? What color? We're going red this time. Feminine Myconid Ranger that has a pretty wild cap with a beehive hanging from it. Nice. Okay. Okay.
That's why I fought for you, Albuquerque.
Ah. I think if the Three Musketeers were all jacked, the Cardinals men would have left them alone. Probably. If you find French hard, that's how French people find French hard. French is a weird language. I'm not good at it. Not great at it at all.
Yep. I mean, I sort of wanted to learn it, but like when I found out part of my family is from France, and it's like, nah, not good enough reason. Well, not exactly practical for us Americans.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to take a bunch of different electives through my life, and so I've taken French and Spanish, Japanese. Yep. A friend of mine took German, so I got a little bit of that, but French went through the effort of making Y's a vowel, and then decided for all rules concerning vowels to not concern Y. I used to speak French as a second language, and now I can't remember it at all. That's a bummer. Welcome in, Fox, by the way. English is a pretty solid language to learn. German, too, is pretty easy if you put your mind to it. English basically just took German, French, and Spanish and cobbled some stuff together, so... I think it's easy to learn because like it has the roots of all those three.
Yeah. Because... there's a website that kind of shows like, I think it's like through like the U.S. like diplomat service thing, where it's like languages for English speakers to learn easier. So it's like basically all the Romance languages are easier for English speakers to learn than say like Chinese or Arabic.
Yeah, learning Japanese was tough.
From what I've learned, there are some Japanese people who find learning Japanese rough as well. Because there's like two different alphabets that they use. And that's just wild to me.
Kanji, Romaji, and Romaji, that's not right.
Sounds close,
Hiragana, Katakana? Maybe Romaji is right. There's basically like the printed text. And then there's let's see if I can still do it. Maybe it's that one. And then there's the word written out. Oh man, I don't even think I could do that if I wanted to.
Because I know it's always brought up in like the manga I've read. It's like it's written out like this, but you say it like this.
Yeah, and like, then there's like basically like how you would write English words. I can't remember all of them. Katakana, Hiragana, Romaji, and something else. Might just be the three.
I know.
It's probably a good thing.
Good to clean up. Easier because they just have their one alphabet that they invented for themselves. Thanks for the jacked musketeer, though.
Yeah, no problem. I read that wrong the first go around. That happens.
Sure. I looked it up here. There's hiragana, katakana, and kanji.
Kanji. Okay.
If I remember correct, the kanji one is like the alphabet they borrowed from China due to like historical trade. But
okay, Romaji is the Romanized spelling. So if you're spelling out a Japanese word using like our alphabet. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a transliteration.
Correct.
I like that word.
So like Moku.
Yep.
Or Ringo.
Oh.
I remember some words.
Only reason I know some of them is because I see them on food.
Yeah.
And like Ringo is apple, I believe.
Ata makata hiza ashi hiza ashi. Ringo
Good
is
for
apple, yeah. Use only duck noises. That might be more difficult. No problem, Oliver. You can lurk. There's no lurk function on YouTube yet, which I guess has always been kind of weird on Twitch, anyways, because it's like, hey, I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving. It's like, okay.
Like I'm leaving your stream open.
Yeah.
But I'm just muting you.
Which feels like you're just calling yourself out for not like you think Twitch would be upset about that. So like telling people, "Hey, I'm just leaving the chat open so the ads get played." You think they would crack down on that, but no, they're like, "No, it's cool."
So weird.
Yeah. Transliteration?
Maybe...
You mean trans or ooh, I don't know what that word is.
Korensu.
Oh, I think that's racist. I think that is a
Don't give them anything out of this.
right.
I think y'all should just learn Klingon. Or Esperanto.
Esperanto? What's that?
So there was a guy, I think early 1900s, he tried to invent a universal language for the whole world.
Ah.
It's like Esperanto.
Okay.
And there's like a Simpsons like shtick about it where the principal knows it and like starts speaking it one day.
That's
like,
funny.
what?
Pyramid head looking hat. Japanese is a very polyvalent language. Like you have one sub-alphabet for foreign words, one for Japanese words, and then one kanji, which is just Pictionary. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. You know, your muscles don't have to be huge if you're fibrous.
Oh. I was like, what?
We should put some spots on here, just for fun. That was a quick one, but I like it. I think that worked out pretty good. Beekeeper, Myconid. Them hips, though. Of course. Myconids are always thick. That's my rule. Gotta be thick. That was a quick one, but I like it. Okay. Pyramid head. Alright, rolling the dice. 15. Great Knoll forensic investigator who was raised by halflings. As to be helpful. Is that like a Dexter? Whatever the hell his name was. Dexter reference? Dexter was a Knoll.
Right. I just know you can have adopted ancestries as a feat.
I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Okay. Blue! A blue one.
So imagine a Knoll in a very, like, Mr. Bilbo Baggins outfit. Who's also
Would Myconids care about looking aesthetically pleasing to other races? I don't know. I think a lot of them, they just like to be by themselves and have little farms, so I don't know if they'd care. Imagine a gun that fires anything you put in it. I decided that I want to stick a full spoon. I mean, that's how blunderbusses work. I also did that for my last campaign. I gave them a railgun. And by that, I just mean anything metal you put in it. And I left that very vague so that they could, like, shoot swords and daggers and stuff. I thought that was fun. I don't know how this... It says start a Q&A. Let's see how this works.
Yeah, let's try and find out.
Oh, it closes the chat. That's not helpful.
It's not closed for me.
Ah, I see. Okay, so then I can just go to live chat, back to live chat. I understand now. I suppose Blunderbuss is kind of a hand cannon. Yep. Yeah. We'll do that for a little bit and see what happens. Blue, drawn a Knoll. I haven't drawn a Knoll in a little while. What would a Knoll look like? Who's an investigator? Let's get the Knoll shape in here first.
Nothing.
Did it work? Did what work?
Amended my question. Also, you sure you're not drawing a bear?
I mean, a little bit. Send me Knoll art. I always forget what Knolls look like.
Fine.
They look like hyenas. Hyenas don't look like anything. Hyenas look like hyenas, so
yeah,
it doesn't help me at all. If I remember right, they have square noses, which does look bear-like.
Which is fair.
They have weirdly high foreheads and square muzzles. That's a big Knoll. Knolls should be huge. They should be terrifying and huge. I wanted to make food and I missed you making my suggestion. I'm sorry, Victor. You can always rewind it.
Yep.
Put it on repeat for hours at a time. Commission me to draw more. Commissions are open, by the way. You guys want to do commissions? I think I'm probably going to be bumping up my prices next week. Maybe End of this week, we'll see. And then we'll go from there. I gotta make that. Gotta make that sweet, sweet medical money. We went from thick, mushy girls to thick, old boys. I mean, that's generally how this chat goes. The short-horned lizard split out its eyes. Yeah.
This probably doesn't help, but I thought it was really cute and wanted to share this reference.
Knowles need that like big hunched back. I just saw the color swatches on his cloak. I thought they were pixelating the junk. I really thought they were pixelating it. It's just it's so it's so banded.
That came from the SRT, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I tried the Q&A prompt. Did it work? Let's find out. Yes. How'd you get into doing art? My best friend growing up loved drawing, and so I just spent a lot of time drawing with him. That's the easiest way to say it. So I did, like, me growing up as a kid was mostly art related. I got sketchbooks and pencils and inks and stuff for most of my birthday and Christmas presents. Yeah. D&D books. Watching animations and cartoons. I really love cartoons. I still do.
Fucking Magic the Gathering cards.
Magic the Gathering cards, yeah. All good things. Tell us your favorite chicken recipe. My favorite chicken recipe is on YouTube. You can look up the Winner Chicken Dinner. Actually, you know what? It's changed. It's changed since then. I did a PUBG-related chicken recipe because I really liked it. But now my favorite recipe is adobo chicken, like Filipino-style adobo chicken. Really, really good. It's super simple. It's just soy sauce and vinegar. I usually do 1-to-1. You're supposed to do a little more vinegar than soy sauce, but I usually do 1-to-1. And then some honey. I add honey to it. And bay leaves. Bay leaves are the special thing to add. Let that slow cook.
Do anything.
Oh, they do. They add a weird bite.
Oh, I know. I know. I love bay leaves. It's a joke.
Oh, okay.
Among like food bloggers, like, why do we even add these things? They're useless. It's like, trust me, if you don't add it, you're going to be tasting something or be missing something in the flavor.
Yep, definitely.
So here's a more serious null if you want it. By the way.
Elvin here asks, is there a race idea you would want to have officially in D&D that isn't there now? I've been asked this before. I'm trying to think of what I answered last time, because there's already so many things. That's one of the reasons I don't do like homebrew videos, because like there's already so much stuff. There's so many things. I don't think we need to do the AMA because I already do that for live chat, so I'm gonna end that. People can just ask me questions in the chat. Maybe we'll do that sometime if if the chat gets too big, but let me catch up on chat real quick. Better get back to tidying, no problem. I think they were just trying to get their classic hyena shape off their back. Yeah, I mean, that's why I really like the super long neck version, because it gives you that kind of like hunched body thing. Consider the baseline of Knowles is cripplingly fast metabolism. He's definitely a thick boy. Oh, I don't know. I feel like if they had crippling fast metabolisms, they would just not survive. So it can't be that crippling. Seems like they're thriving. Did I make the muzzle too big? I think this works. I think this is fine. Forensic investigator, huh? We've discovered that investigators are martial classes. Do they get heavy armor? It's very well fed. Investigators are rogues, I think. So Pathfinder switched them up a little bit, and that's why I'm so confused. Because I think Pathfinder 1, they were rogues. And then 5e has an investigator subclass, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a rogue, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird to me. And I always want them to be the Inquisitors from Pathfinder 1, which they're not. It's more of like a paladin build. Like a...
Yep. A ranged, light armored paladin.
Yeah. So like, there's a whole bunch of weird things around that word.
I think they're kind of the rationale for them being rogues for 5th edition is rogues are more or less like, I think rogue is probably a bad name for the class in 5th edition. I think specialist should be a more accurate name for them.
Yeah.
Or something along that lines.
Because it really falls down to like the whether or not you're just supposed to be like a skill monkey, or if you're supposed to be a like high DPS. Because like that's what I was saying earlier before the stream started, is that like the rogue, in my opinion, is probably one of the more broken classes because it kind of does everything. It's a glass cannon that's highly defensible, and basically if you stack dex and int, you just are everything. You just can do everything. Excuse me. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. That was the joke. I like that for the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
No,
I definitely
lords keep talking about their god. Yeah. Okay.
I definitely like how they theme in 2nd edition where their main stat isn't dex or anything, but just straight intelligence.
Right, and that's I think
it's like.
I think that's where the frustration comes from. Or you're talking about Inquisitors or investigators.
Investigators. Yeah.
So they can still do all their weird damage stuff. Because
but you use your int.
You use your int, yeah. So you can use your int to damage, which is pretty cool, which I really like. And so that's kind of going back to the rogues letting you just stack one stat and be really good at everything. But with a little bit more control over it, which I think is needed.
Yeah.
Because rogues are just like you just stack decks and you win. You win the game. Who needs persuasion when I can just thievery my way out of everything? Dragon Age Inquisition noises.
I streamed it for a little while. Yeah, it's essentially like you devise a plan to optimize your damage in a quick instance. It's like it's basically Robert Downey Jr. style Sherlock Holmes.
Yep.
That is definitely a big inspiration for this new investigator.
Yeah, and it feels really good. Feels really good. So I'll let you guys know how that plays out more.
I mean, oh god, you also probably like speak like 10 different languages because of your intelligence.
Oh god, I didn't even think about that. I forgot to fill that part out.
Yep.
I'll look into that tonight.
Because that's also built around your intelligence, so I think. Because that's weirdly why Somar can only speak 3 languages, and that's it. It's like, you know these 2 and 1 other.
Yeah, I've never really I've played around with that a lot of the time. But I've never really gone super hard into making people know languages. It's like if it's something important to the story, I want to tell them. And if they didn't pick it, it's like, oh, you don't get to know stuff. It's like that's not fun at all. Like I want you guys to know these things.
Yeah.
So I generally try not to.
I know for our Pathfinder game, it's kind of come up a few times where it's just we just happen to have a party who doesn't speak Elven. I was like, oh no, we left the elf twins back at the city.
Oh no, polynomial expansion. Polynomial expansion is pretty easy, if I remember right. Rogues are glass dodge tanks that are also skill monkeys if need be, except that their damage is inconsistent. I don't think it's inconsistent at all. I think it's pretty good. The issue with them is that their skills they're good at are most important mechanically. Yeah. So, I mean, it really does feel a lot of the time that rogues are set for the gamification of it. So, like, in combat, out of combat, dungeon diving, rogues are the way to go, which I think does stem from, Mr. Baggins, we need a burglar, and that's why they're still rogues. But rogues doesn't make a lot of sense because,
like
I think a lot
honestly,
of cops
rogue should be like the term rogue should probably be applied to like the thief subclass.
Yeah. So I'm more upset about like the terminology of it because people think like, I have to be this evil, maybe not evil, but like just the archetype is exactly. And it's like, no, you can be a very upstanding rogue, and I think that's fine.
There's even subclasses for that.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of maybe bad PR or something.
Yeah.
This is a weird drawing, but I like it. He does look too much like a bear. I think his mouth is too low.
And the player's handbook definitely does not help that rogues in that manner, where it's like dude in like dark leathers and dark cloak. It's like, yeah, that's just an assassin.
Yep. Assassin. That's the other thing. Like, I think a lot of people think as rogues they're assassins, and so with the new Pathfinder stuff, you don't have to do that, and because of that, you don't inherently just be super good at damage, and so it's a little off-putting if you're not building into it. Really, what you should be doing is building like an Inquisitor, or building or investigator, or an assassin, straight up an assassin, or a ninja. Like, that's the problem with the 5e one, is that it's 3 classes. It's 3 classes meshed into one character. And it's just really strong.
Yeah. Because it really does kind of do all 3 of the pillars of gameplay that they were trying to do for 5th edition. It's like combat, RP, and exploration. Because like, the rogue can do all of those.
Yep.
And some rogues can even cast some magic.
Yep. My same issue with warlocks. Like, they're just too damn versatile compared to everything else. I was thinking about this the other day, like the cost of things, like how much is a spell worth? And like a warlock's cantrip is cheaper than buying 1 arrow and way more efficient. And that's messed up. Super messed up. So rangers need a big boost compared to warlocks.
I don't know if I would call them overly versatile. I think they have like versatile options, but no one takes them. So I think that just throws the versatility out of them because.
Well, I mean, so when I say versatile, I mean like combat wise. There used to be a big argument that like warrior classes, like just straight fighter and barbarians, way more powerful early game and then like fall off because once you reach level 8 or 10, the wizards just like take off and win.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Warlock was kind of the counteract to that. Like, oh, we'll make mages and stuff more powerful early game, and then it's just like it just keeps going. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you've made melee combat completely pointless, or melee combat classes pointless. Everyone should just be a Warlock. Warlock's
really,
versatility, just no, like they have the limited spell slots, which I think is important, and limited spell feats, but they gain so much just functionality that everybody wants to dip into Warlock, and that's bad.
For me, it's just they just want Eldritch Blast. Just nerf Eldritch Blast, that'll fix your problem.
But I mean, that's the problem. Like that's the whole class is essentially the problem with it.
Yeah,
like it's synonymous with it. So maybe versatile isn't the right word. They're not versatile in character creation. They are versatile as functional in combat things. Yeah. So yeah, versatile might not be the right word to get off what I'm trying to get across.
Just get rid of Warlocks. We don't need them.
Yep. Just make them sorcerers. Packed sorcerers.
I'm down with more sorcerers.
Mm-hmm.
But I like sorcerers though. I like them because, weirdly enough, due to their proficiencies that they get, at least in 5th edition, where they get Constitution as a proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
It's like, it just makes so much sense. It's like so arguably you're really good at like concentrating on your magic, which kind of makes you a better caster compared to like, say like a druid or a wizard, where it's like, oh, you get hit. Yep, sorry, you've lost that spell.
Yeah, concentration is tough. I think it's an interesting thing that maybe we forget about, but I know I constantly forget about it. But
yeah,
it is interesting, and it can really screw up a game when you lose concentration on a spell.
Mm-hmm.
You give an Eldritch Blast to a sorcerer, and Warlock disappears. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's the functionality that Warlocks have is broken to the point where everybody wants it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's when I'm saying versatile. Like it works with every class. It is just good to have in combat. Period. And it's just
because the only requirement you need is like a 14 charisma to multi-class into it.
But like the stupid thing about that is that's good to have regardless. So it's like, why wouldn't you have that? It's the same argument of like, if guns exist, why doesn't everybody have a gun? Or why doesn't everybody have archery and bow skills? It's like, yeah. Don't make a class around that. So who knows? I'm okay with the Warlock not being anywhere.
Because I was like,
I'm gonna roll the dice.
Yeah, sure, bows and stuff are awesome, but like, England did that, and they had to practice literally every Sunday.
Minotaur
like
barbarian
mandatory.
Dude brawled with a mate. I think this is Bionic again. There's a lot of alliteration here.
Yep. Mohawk Minotaur.
Yep, Mohawk Minotaur.
A Tauren who's had the Mohawk grenade thrown at them.
That turns you into a blood elf.
Oh, I thought I should just give you a Mohawk.
Nope, it turns you into a blood elf. The Mohawk, it turns you into Mr. T.
Mohawk grenade.
My characters already have Mohawks.
Are you just gonna redraw your Minotaur from that sentient weapon?
Maybe.
I mean, it's a good Minotaur.
Can a satyr be a good option with the jump I was thinking? I think satyrs are good, yeah. I have a character concept in my head for a while. Maybe you could help with that. Legless, large, pointy ears artificer elker with a large upper body and shoulder mech golems. It feels like I keep thinking of, what's the Skullgirls? The lady that has the giant hair arms. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. She's got legs, though. But if all you're doing is basically trying to give her like an exoskeleton or a robotic suit, doesn't really matter if she has the legs or not. But so you could do that.
I did not realize satyrs get the ram. They have a ram feature. I didn't realize that.
They should. They're goats.
Yeah. I mean, it makes logical sense. I hear no one ever talk about it. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally make a dragoon satyr with their mirthful leap.
Yep, I thought about that. I went with I was going to do that, and then I just went with the red cap instead, because they get a basically spring attack. They get to attack and jump, which is different in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Thinking about jumping into action, ramming, or bashing. Yeah, you can do that. I think the satyr actually is not a bad idea. Or like a Harengon. If you want the bunny ears, you might as well start with the bunny.
But yeah, the mirthful leaps are pretty cool. You can do a long or high jump, and you roll a d8 and add that number to the number of feet you can cover. Which this extra distance does not cost movement.
Oh, interesting.
So
yeah,
it's like, oh.
The only problem with that is that you really have to be ready to. You should technically be doing something similar anyways when you jump, because you're supposed to add your athletics check and number of feet, which is kind of shitty because, having +2 to that doesn't help. It only adds like 2 feet, so it's still basically adding one square some of the time, 1 or 2 squares at the most. So it's weird. Doesn't jump count as a bonus action? Ooh, I don't know. It should just be part of your movement. Because that's the other thing. Like my experience with jump has basically only allowed me to traverse climbing things, gaps, and rough terrain. Like that's really all the jump does, unless you want to mechanically add something to it, like a charge.
When you make a long jump, blah blah blah, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score.
Yeah.
So not your mod, but your score. So
up to 20 feet. Yeah, 10 to 20 feet is essentially 10 is average.
This rule assumes that the height of your jump doesn't matter, such as jump across a stream or chasm. At your DM's option, you must exceed a strength DC 10 athletics check. It was like a low obstacle.
And if you get a running start, you can jump farther, I think. That's what the long jump is. There's feet so you don't have to take a running start. There's a lot of fun stuff.
And with the long jump, either way, each foot you clear on the jump costs you a foot of movement.
Yeah.
Or a square.
So basically you can't run 30 feet and then jump 20 feet. You're like, it's all built together.
Unless you have weirdly built like something for that, like taking the mobile feet.
Yeah. Mobile feet, jump spell. There's a few things that change it out.
But the high jump is a bit different. I believe
it's
the feat is equal to 3 plus your strength mod. So you can't and you have to be able to at least move 10 feet.
Yeah, you gotta get a running start.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I forgot what this was already. Mohawk Man?
Mohawk Mantar.
Do we have anything else with it, though?
Probably just a barbarian. Violent likes their barbarians, so I'll check. Mohawk grenade. Mohawk grenade.
You quote Warcraft a lot for not wanting to play Warcraft.
Because I saw the stupid commercials growing up.
Hmm.
Sorry.
I lived it. I lived those commercials.
Yeah, just a barbarian brawler, dude.
Okay.
They were shown enough on my TV that they've like been seared into my brain. Like Sean Connery was a Tauren shaman.
William Shatner.
Yes.
Sorry. Just wanted to... Sean Connery would have been awesome. Not Sean Connery. Rescue the bird still lives. He's doing well for his condition, but he's still not guaranteed to survive. Well, I hope he does pretty good. Wish him the best. Guys play Fallout 4. Not in a long time. I've not played Fallout 4. Maybe I never played Fallout 4. What was the last Fallout I played? Was Fallout 4 the one that had online stuff?
No, that was Fallout 72, 74.
Okay. Is Fallout 4 older than that or newer than that?
Older.
Okay, then I played Fallout 4.
It's the one that takes place like in Boston.
Yeah, I think that's the last one I played.
76, thank you. 76 took place in West Virginia.
Sure.
Because it had all the cryptids in it. Started out really bad and then actually kind of got good, from what I heard.
I have to start a commission piece today. I forgot. I have a big one today, and then hopefully on Tuesday I can start the other commission. That one should only take me a day or two, and then I have the surgery, and then hopefully we'll get more next week.
We have Pathfinder tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Drew would say that they were
Don't rest.
good. Good to do that?
I believe so. But I'll shoot him a message later.
If not, I could run one, but like I said, it's bigger. Bigger story. Give him a weird brand. The Manotaur. What time is it? 1:20? Well, we're doing all right.
On today is PaizoCon.
Oh, yeah. Where is that?
Probably in your neck of the woods.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe I should just drive over there.
Yeah.
Unless they like, it might just be at the convention center. Not sure.
It could also be
I would.
an online thing.
Could be.
Yeah, it's online.
Okay. I was gonna say I could see them going to California just to like have a space to do it, but all right, we've done Super Saiyan Cowman.
It's today, tomorrow, and Sunday.
Decided to use where I only use my just really good at punching people, the ultimate brawler. Is this your warlock? Oh, as in Fallout. Yeah, I've done that build. That's fun. Yeah, it's a good build. Get the rocket fist thing that just like it's a lot of fun. The power fist, I think is what it's called, yeah. Is an evil suggestion a thing that I make withdraw hands? I mean, this is as much hands as you're getting. I know my limitations. Feet cost extra, but maybe hands should cost extra. You want to punch with just the fists? Yeah, good luck. It's gonna be tough, but you could definitely take down one of those giants with your fists, so it is doable. The idea that I can be powerful and cost no resources is my fantasy, and now we understand the rogue and warlock mentality. No, I like the unarmed build too. I usually take throw anything and brawler for my Pathfinder feats, regardless of what character I'm playing. It's like, if at any given time I need to hit somebody with a chair, I want to be able to do that to maximum effect.
No, I want the chair.
There was a... If you ever want to start a fight, you just gotta throw a chair. I think that was a Boondocks quote that I can't quite remember. So if you ever need to, if you ever need to start a distraction, just huck a folding chair into a group of people.
Ever need to destroy a friendship? Play Uno with them.
Yep. Oliver, I thought you were doing math and or cleaning your room. This is not my job. I'm just curious. You do you. I'm done with this Minotaur boy. I'm gonna draw the next one. An Aarakocra that looks like a kestrel. I think I know what kestrels look like. Little tiny birds? Little tiny birds?
I like little tiny falcons.
Yeah, okay. Little babes. Green kestrel. All right. What's up, Skip Cat? How are you?
Here you go.
Oh boy. I think it's important to find the bounds of what is powerful with no cost. Warlocks, in my opinion, should be cantrip masters, being able to apply unique effects and cheap spells rather than doing big spells. I think they should still have level 1 spells. That's my big issue. Because once again, like, it's cheaper than an arrow. So arrows either need to be way more powerful or cantrips need to be less powerful because they don't cost anything. Because it's the difference between having a battle axe, right? Like a battle axe should have bonus damage because it is an item that has to have proficiency and things to it. So if you're looking at the base cost of anybody picking up a dagger and being a d4 damage, cantrips should be on that level, period. Getting really good with them, that's what spells are for. You want a better cantrip? Cost spells. So that's why it weirds me out that it just scales so powerfully. Basically, warlocks' cantrips aren't cantrips anymore. They're just powerful.
Hashtag get rid of warlocks.
Hashtag delete them. All right, let's draw this. Let's draw this Eric Okra.
Hashtag delete them.
I really like the idea of someone who has like a lot of level 1 spells at the detriment of having higher level spells. I think that's great. Just like a level 1 spell master. But the cantrip is a little excessive. In my mind. And it's not super broken. It's just like the concept of how they're developing it is I think misguided.
Yeah. Maybe just not add every single like modifier you have to Eldritch Blast people.
I like to abuse the power of warlocks have at the moment. I'm going to be really dangerous for a while. Poisons and oils for weapons should be cheap. They should be, yeah. They should be a lot cheaper, because the amount of benefit you get from them and the usages doesn't match up to anything else. Like that's what I'm saying. Like an arrow with poison on it is not the same as shooting someone with 1,000 arrows, right? Like it's really strange that they cost as much as they do.
That's the thing that's also in Pathfinder is like poisons are super expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
2E like, mentality of balancing, casters balancing. Yeah, everything needs to be balanced. I mean, it's a game. That's the whole thing. So, well, I understand the reasoning. I don't want to go back to the crossbow wizard. That's fair. That's fair. I get where you're coming from that. For those of you who don't know what a crossbow wizard is, essentially because cantrips used to suck real bad, every wizard just had a crossbow because that was the only option to have.
Yep.
When you run out of spells. Run out of spells, now I have a crossbow. So there's that. Really, I think the argument should be that a wizard's cantrip should be more powerful than a bow, but someone who's proficient with bows needs to be above the level of someone with a cantrip casting. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Maybe we just have D&D without wizards anymore.
I'm okay with getting rid of sorcerers.
You hush your dirty mouth.
Sorcerers don't make any goddamn sense. Sorcerers are should be an ancestry, not a class.
Nope.
I want my barbarian with sorcerer powers. That's all I'm saying.
Be a blood rager.
Yeah. Yep.
It's still a bloodline feat. Or not feat.
But that's why you don't need sorcerers. You don't need sorcerers because a blood rager is essentially a sorcerer barbarian.
Yeah, you still need a sorcerer's bloodline.
Anybody should be able to take one because it should be an ancestry feat. That's my argument.
No. Like, an elf who's lived long shouldn't have a magical bloodline. If they've not done anything special.
So you agree with me that elves shouldn't be sorcerers? I feel like
it's
you just
not
made
your
my
argument.
Point. No, but I feel you just made my point, so I'm confused.
Sorcerers should not be related to ancestry feats, period. It should be a class. Because you still go through training to use your magic.
How is that different from being a wizard? Do you not have to have... You don't have to be born with magic to be a wizard.
Yeah.
Okay. But sorcery is spending the time to make your background feat more powerful, is what you're arguing.
I don't. No. I think they should just be separate. Can you get feats that give you magic? Sure. Do I think that make you a sorcerer? No.
All right, I can see that argument.
Because you could always make the argument that it's a cultural thing for some ancestries to have learn magic. Like elves having a cantrip or a first level spells, probably because they live in such a magical society. Does that make them sorcerers? No, not in my opinion.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I think that's a fair way to look at it. Because what I'm talking about would be more of like basically making your elven heritage magic something that only you get because you are an elf. So that is fair, and I think those do exist, and I like that concept. But becoming a sorcerer would be someone who focuses and takes that ancestry to a level beyond what people could have access to. I think that's fair. Okay. I could see that point.
Like, if you maybe want to make a big full-on feat tree, you could haggle me to that, but
Cancel sorcerers, cancel all slot casters except wizard.
No, just get rid of wizards. Too broken. Or just make dispel magic more powerful. Just crush all the wizards who are flying and while being invisible.
I gave my rogue last night a ring of invisibility, so I thought that would be fun. He used it very well. But my stance on it was every time he wears it, for every round that he's invisible, there's a slight chance that he's going to go crazy. And he wore the ring for 9 rounds and beat every single DC every single time. And I was just like,
gotta raise that DC.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I did not realize that the rogue would have a +8 to wisdom saves, and I was just like, I'm upset about this. I'm gonna have to go back and revisit.
Oh, did they have a high wisdom?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at their stuff and figure it out.
Cause
it felt excessive.
Is this fifth edition?
Yeah. They shouldn't naturally have one, but for some reason they're very good at it.
Wait. Was it? They're a halfling, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. So they get bonuses to wisdom, or for fear effects.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'll try think.
Because rogues only get dex and intelligence.
Yep.
Proficiency in those saves. So, intelligence is such a rare save.
Yeah, it is. Every caster can be boiled down to a source of magic plus school of magic. Every martial boils down to a training plus type of weapon. Yeah. Should weapon damage rise across the board? I don't think so. I think it's fine.
Or we could go back to the old way of doing games. Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Fighter, rogue, and mage.
I hate that so much. I think sorcerer lineages should be an example of the dragon lineage could be a dragon touched, where the dragon magic somehow moved into the person and then leveled up them, learning to control it better. Yeah, I think that's kind of how it is. Have I missed my fishman? Nope, Morbid, you have not.
I'm just a big fan of sorcerers. That's just me, so I will defend them.
I know a lot of people, yeah, that like sorcerers.
Also know a lot of people who hate sorcerers, think they're subpar, and it's you're entitled to that wrong opinion.
Yeah. No, I think sorcerers are great. I do like the my biggest problem with sorcerers, and this is really it, and I don't think it's actually that big of a problem, is that the way that they have unrestricted casting, spontaneous casting, I think has made the wizard less good. In 5e, and so it makes the sorcerer feel a little weird.
Yeah,
which is why I really do think that I think sorcerer could be a really interesting thing that anybody could take, because it's just I'm gonna train my lineage more, and it's yeah, do that. So I think there should be more
Really?
sorcerers, and I think sorcerers should be more accessible instead of it being like a whole field of magic.
Yeah.
But I do like the Sorcerer Supreme style thing where it's just like, I almost wish Sorcerer was a type of wizard.
Yeah. I think some of it has to do with like their weird, vague origin, where it's like, because the term sorcerer is just like, that's just a wizard, ain't it?
Yeah.
And so, though I'm also down for them moving them away from being charisma casters, because I don't fully understand that. Also, I think there's too many charisma casters.
I think they should be Constitution casters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I want them to move towards, like how the Kineticist for 2nd edition it's going to be a Constitution based stuff. I want that for sorcerers.
Tin Can, we're kind of being very vague. 5e and 2e in regards. Sounds like Rick just wants to play 1 or 2e back when elves was a class and only caster option. No, not necessarily, but also yes. So I mean, it's I like it. I like when things are unique, and sorcerer feels very not unique to me.
Yeah, because for me, for 5th edition, what makes them unique for me is like the fact they get meta magic, which is kind of like weird for me to be playing one in 2nd edition where it's like every spellcaster gets access to meta magic.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not sure if I like that.
I do like the sorcerers. Don't get me wrong. I feel like they thematically feel weird to me. Is really my issue.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That is a fair critique.
I even like the idea of like being a meta magic focus. That's actually the thing that I think that is most interesting. But once again, they still don't fit in there because they're like, my dad was a dragon, so I can twin spell. And it's like, so you still have to become a wizard to learn those spells? Like, no, I also know magic missile, but just innately. And it's like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they don't explain how you get the spells.
Yeah, it's very strange. Which, like I said, I really like the way they play. They just don't make sense. So to me, it would make more sense if you were a wizard and then became a sorcerer, and so you were tapping into that power, which feels a lot more like Warlock, which once again focuses on cantrips, which that makes more sense as a lineage thing to me, and then it should be based on your constitution for how they scale, not your level. Once again, not this breaks the system. It does break the system. I get that. So a vagabond that is. I mean, yeah, Indestructible is working on something that I think is kind of different for that. So I have no penchant to rewrite D&D or Pathfinder. I just like, these are the thoughts that always pop through my head. So at acquired.
But yeah, I by no means think the 5th edition sorcerer is perfect.
Sure.
It's just not. But for me, it's always like, in terms of, I guess the thing I like about them is their spells are thematic instead of based around a single school like a wizard is.
See,
like,
and for me, I think I like the aspect of the like the wizard that specializes, but I think the sorcerers should be locked. Like, my dad was an Ifrit, so I can use fire magic and only fire magic.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But that once again makes the wizard less interesting, I guess, which is where sorcery just doesn't make sense to me.
Because I think the most interesting sorcerer subclass they've ever put out is the Order of Scribes wizard. Unique. It's kind of built around your spell book, where it's kind of like a sentient spell book, and
that's the
it's probably the closest like universal wizard you could get for 5th edition.
Yeah,
I like that.
Is Constitution rolls the rarest to need use? Isn't Constitution roll the rarest to need to use? No. I would say Int. Yeah, I would say Int is probably the lowest. Because like Constitution is for poisons, crushing damage.
Yep.
Eating things. I guess that's still technically a poison.
being bound up by something like
Yep. Constriction damage, stuff like that. Yeah, being crushed by rocks. You could. I think I see a lot of people just double down to strength, like, oh, use your acrobatics for that, and it's like, oh, okay, that's fine, but like, you can't flex your way out of being poisoned, though you could flex your way out of being eaten by a dragon. So
yeah.
Holding your breath, I guess, is still holding your breath is still constitution based. Things like that. Marching for a long time.
Petrified is constant.
It might be constitution. So yeah, I use constitution quite a lot. The rarest for me is probably int because of the way that charisma and wisdom are set up. You use those two a lot more in relation to things that are int based. The only time I think you use int is if like someone throws a nasty puzzle at you. You have to think your way out of it versus just willing something away. Because will saves, which are wisdom saves, I think specifically should be based around charisma, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So
someone explained a way of where I would like agree with like will saves being charisma, where it's like charisma is like a way of you kind of like keeping your cool, keeping your wits about yourself in a way.
Interesting. For me, charisma casting has always been presence. Inflicting your will on someone else, that's how necromancy works. Like the reason old school skeletons didn't have constitution is because they were only held together and animated by the will of the necromancer. Like their magic and their intent makes the thing work. In my mind, that's what the charisma should be. But that would be a will, like you're challenging the will of the person save. And but it's too close to like the wisdom save. Yeah. Wisdom to me would just be like your knowledge of the world, understanding and feeling out whether or not an illusion is real.
Wisdom is more like intuition.
Intuition versus you actually like forcing your will on somebody. So there's a little bit of wibble wobble there that just kind of once again mechanically doesn't really matter, but linguistically doesn't make sense to me. So.
And it's really kind of just there because of legacy. And like wisdom every basically RPG.
Bards should be non-magical supports. That's interesting. I don't know. But what can you do? I don't know if that... I don't want to disagree with that, because I think that's fine. But you're arguing at that point then that, like, magic is specifically something that can be... It's a balancing thing, right? So, like, why would someone spend a level 1 spell slot to give everybody a +1 if someone could just play a guitar infinitely? Like, that's the cantrip argument again. So, bards should be cantrip supports? So, I don't know. No. Which, that would be cool. I'd be fine with that. I like that with like their performances in Pathfinder. You have a set number of performances per day that just buff the party in different ways. I really like that. And that's not attached to your magic. So, yeah, they could be rangers with that ability. Swashbuckler kind of has that ability now in 2E. The bards being... once again, essentially just wizards. Really, if you wanted to get snippy with it, what you could do is you could just take clerics, wizards, and fighters, and then make every other job a subclass of one of those three, which is the 2E model, I guess is what you were talking about. So, it feels a little excessive sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like bards being magical supports. That is me, though. But also like the idea of bards kind of just being eclectic. Like they just collect scraps of magic from all schools of magic.
Yeah.
Hence why like they have like some cleric spells, some druid spells, some wizard spells.
Which I like that. I like that because they pick things up along the way. I agree. I like that. I like this. Having sorcerers be constitution casters would make them the rogues of the casters, needing only one skill. That's true. That is true. It would make them very powerful.
I'm not opposed to that.
You'd definitely have to rebalance some things.
Well, yeah.
Because like you have to think through that one. But yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe charisma just needs to be more closely tied to maybe like desync it from. No, you know what? I don't care. I don't need to break my brain over this.
Because you could
I think-
also make an argument. I think, like, if you make sorcerers charisma or not charisma, but constitution casters, you could also make the argument that like monks could also be that, like their ki coming from their body, like their. So you could set up like a different type of or set of classes that are like built around constitution.
Yeah.
Because you would have like barbarian, sorcerer, and monk.
Yeah. I think maybe that's part of the reason things got a little muddled, is because like monks are wisdom based. And Pathfinder did this too. Like wisdom was your casting stat for a cleric and a monk, but you got your ki and your channel divinity or your channeling function from your charisma. So you essentially needed 3 stats. And then if you're a monk, you also need strength or dex. And so strength, dex, like monks needed every stat, and that was rough. And so that's why that's in one of those situations where like converting those to charisma would make sense. And I would say if you wanted to do it that way for a sorcerer, you could do that, but not having the int would limit the amount of spells you could get. And that's something else that got kind of removed in older edition from older editions, was that you learn 2 spells unless you have int, and then you get 3 spells. And so like there's different ways around that. Having low int also maybe you just don't know how to access those spells because you're a dum-dum.
Yeah.
I can only cast Fireball.
I'm also like the idea of sorcerers being like having a small spells known list.
Yeah.
So like you only know so many spells, but you can cast them a lot more than a wizard could.
Right. And that's to me what the capstone, the warlock should have been, essentially. Right? It's just like you get 4 spells, but you have 20 level 1 spell slots. It's just like, hell yeah. That's it. So what is you make sorcerers, what if I assume, were constitution casters and they would spend hit points instead of spell slots. I love that too. Yeah, I super love that.
Blood wizards or blood casters? Yeah.
But once again, what if everybody could do that? What if everybody got sorcerer spells, but they could only cast them by using their hit points? That would be amazing. This is my argument. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Like, I'm a barbarian. My father was an ice giant. I can hit you with a giant frozen axe. Thank you for coming. Have a good day. Monk is unique, the only base game mana caster.
Tango catcher.
Because of their ki? Okay. Drain casting should be reserved for physics or psychics. Sounds kind of boring, not gonna lie. Drain casting, I think, is definitely. I just give people items and stuff. It's like you can trade hit points for spell slots. Yeah. That turned out to be very broken though, so I have to rework that.
So yeah, if I was designing sorcerer, I know this is not would be balanced, but it's like gives them a D8 hit points or maybe heck D10. Make them really tough. Limit their spell list a lot, like at most maybe 2 spells, but you can cast those spells a lot.
Yep.
It's like there, done.
You can't learn spells from scrolls. You can use scrolls.
Yeah.
But like you can't learn spells.
Yeah. Like you
can do things because you got that sweet.
Like maybe you can't even use magic items like a wand or something because you just don't have the
That should be in base.
intelligent know-how.
All right, I think I'm done with this bird. It is 2 o'clock. I think I'm probably gonna call it here, unless anybody else has fun ideas. I might go play some Final Fantasy. I want to work on another video. I need to start a commission, but I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna start this commission.
Also, you need to post your short.
Yes, I need to post the short. So I will post the short, and then I'll probably just be hanging out in Discord. If people want to come hang out in the Discord, you're very welcome to do so. I don't want to stream my commission work on YouTube. I have been streaming it on Twitch because it goes away after a little while. I don't know what else to say about that. Definitely go check out some of my other videos if you haven't yet. There's a, what is it? QR code in the bottom of the screen for the newest video that we just released. I don't know why I did that. I thought it'd be fun. I have no idea if it worked. Sorcerer should be a monocolor caster in 5e universe. Exactly. Yep, I agree. I think that would be the most interesting. Everything is magic. Throwing a rock and eating soup is all magic. That's what it feels like sometimes. That's what it feels like sometimes.
What you want to be.
Not necessarily. But like, and I think that's a fair argument saying that because I know where you're coming from. And that's my thing with like psychics and stuff. It's like, it's just magic. It doesn't matter. It's just magic. It's like, no, it's different. It's throwing a rock is different. It's like numbers wise, it's not. It's all the same. You're using your what the hell's the word? You're using your quintessence to propel physical objects through space. It's magic. The fact that we can throw things is magical.
You learn your magic differently than others.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go make some lunch, and then I will. I'll be back in Discord, so I'll probably just hang out here and start working on this commission, which is a little space girl. So it's gonna be fun. If you'd like to get a commission, let me know. Just send me a message on Discord. I do want to try to push pretty hard for commissions over the next week or two. I do also need to work on the next video, which I think will be pretty fun. I have a cool idea for that. We'll do that. And next week there will be no viewer suggestion. So at least not on Wednesday. We'll probably do one on Friday if I'm feeling up to it, but I'll let you guys know. So we will probably not have a viewer post next week. We will just have people suggest things in the chat if we do end up doing it. So thanks again, everybody. Let's see what's going on. See if there's anybody else around that might want to be rated. Nope, no one around, which is fine. Thanks again. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table, everybody, and we'll catch you all next week. Bye, everyone.